Hi, welcome to Backyard Basics. I'm Tricia Shari. Joining me this morning once again is Ivy Lara from the Dripping Springs Garlic Queens.
Hi, Tricia.
And we spoke last October about planting garlic, and now we've got our garlic growing, and we're going to talk about how to harvest and what to do with that garlic. So what's your garlic doing right now?
Right now our garlic is growing scapes. So this is going to be the flower head, and you want to cut that out.
And why do you cut the flower off?
You're going to cut the flower out so that the bulb develops bigger, better. You don't want that energy going
Into seed production.
Seed, yeah.
Although you might want a few garlic seeds.
Yes,
maybe.
they're very pretty, and they will reseed throughout the yard. But typically you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that that head of garlic is big and pretty.
Okay, so these are garlic scapes, and
They
what
are.
do you do with the garlic scapes once you've cut them off?
What you can do is you can pickle them, or you can make a pesto out of them. Pickling is very popular right now.
Okay, and they're a little tough, so they're not really tender like a green onion to cook with.
No, no, you would need to cook them for a very long time.
But they probably give you great garlic flavor in pickles.
They do. Wonderful. And most people usually put cloves of garlic in with the pickle, and that way you have pickled garlic as well.
Sure. Okay, so the garlic is continuing to grow, and we're going to harvest in June for most of it. And what do we look for when it's time to harvest our garlic?
When it's time to harvest, you're going to start seeing the bottom leaves start to yellow and brown. Once you have the bottom 5 to 6, you're going to want to go ahead and harvest, because each leaf represents a wrapper around that head. So once those start dying, you want to make sure that you've got a good packaging around that head of garlic.
Tell us how you dig your garlic and to harvest it.
Very carefully.
Okay.
Typically, you're just going to use a spade or a trowel, but you really want to make sure that you're not nicking or bruising or marking that. So really, you just go in and under and pop it out. But you can, use your hands and be gentle with it as well.
Depends on your soil.
It does. Also, you want it to be dry. You want the soil to have been dry for at least 2 weeks before you harvest.
Okay. What if it's raining? What do you do?
If you can hold off and let it dry out a little bit, that's ideal. If it's just raining, then go ahead and harvest. It'll just take longer to dry.
Okay. So you do need to dry the garlic in order to store it. So what are your methods for drying garlic?
Once you harvest the garlic, what you're going to do is you have 2 options, which are the most popular. You can make drying racks, or you can also hang them in bunches.
And everybody's seen the garlic braids and
Yes.
bunches. What is your garlic rack? What does that look like?
It's like a 4x4 plywood with a mesh net in the middle, fairly sturdy, and then you just lay them down side to side, back to back, and you want to make sure, of course, that you've got good airflow. And if you hang it, typically you're going to do it in bunches of 10.
Okay.
And by variety.
Because if you put too many, they might even mildew or not dry well.
Correct. And most people prefer the hanging method. It seems to work better. And then you're going to go ahead and dry for a whole month.
Okay.
At
And
least.
where would you dry yours?
You can dry it in a garage, you can dry it in a drying barn, anything on a porch, anything that's going to get good airflow.
Out of the elements, but with good air circulation. Okay. How do you know when it's dry enough?
Typically, you're going to see the greens are really going to start to brown, and you can tell, you can feel it, you can smell it. You can still smell that damp. Then you probably still got a little.
And the
while.
outside leaves are probably pretty papery at
They
that
are.
point. Now you can actually use that garlic before it's dry
Oh,
in the kitchen. So
absolutely.
because I don't think I could wait a whole month to be using it.
I don't think that we did either.
Yeah.
But you can use it, but optimally, you would.
And
wanna
what would
wait.
you say is a storage life for that garlic once it's dry?
It depends on what the variety is. Some have longer life, some have shorter,
Okay.
but typically 9 months.
Okay.
And you want to store it the same way you do potatoes or onions. You want to keep it in a dark area, and again with good airflow.
Okay, well, great. Well, we're looking forward to harvesting garlic. Thanks so much for joining us here on Backyard Basics, Ivy.
Thank you. My pleasure.